I am Groot. Welcome to The Complete Groot, where we take trade paperbacks and single Groots and we break them down into Grootable Groots. All alterations to your Groot are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective Groots. Our real and normal disclaimer is down below, guys. This is issues 1 through 5 of the Groot Miniseries. I wanted to find a book that we could all be thankful for. This is your fault, Rocket yells at Groot. I am Groot. The two bestest friends in the galaxy are now floating around with their spaceship out of commission. No! The journey is not more important than the destination. Why did you want to go to Earth anyway? I am Groot. What do you mean you've never been there? We go there all the time, usually to shoot things. I am Groot. Oh, sorry, you've never been there. How obtrusive of me. So Groot holds his hand up with his thumb sticking out. What the flark are you doing? I am Groot. What the flark is hitchhiking? I am Groot. Sounds like a good way to get us killed. I want to go and fix the ship. But as Rocket reaches the ship, it explodes, pushing him off into space. So Groot has to reach out and pull his buddy back in. And they hitchhike together. First, they end up in a tiny transport ship with a bunch of space chickens, and then they shoot up the space sharks that got into the driver's way. But the raccoon with the big gun and Groot tearing up things kind of scared off their ride. So they ended up hitchhiking again. The second people that were nice enough to pick them up were 3 humans. But they seemed a bit off, because they kept changing their shapes and talking about conquering Earth. But they couldn't find Earth. Once Groot realized that these were actually Skrulls, they decided to take an escape pod and get off the ship. Then they saved a diner from a holdup, and they got their hands on an awesome scooter, even if Rocket decided they needed a new ride. This brought them to a planet that was doomed to die, and a mother and father trying to save their son with only one ship that he had built. Well, Rocket and Groot stole that ship. Well, they borrowed it, and then it broke down. Rocket then asks Groot, "Why are we going to Earth anyway? You still won't tell me." I am Groot. I'm sure I will think it's stupid, but tell me anyway. I am Groot. Who the flark is Hannah? Hold on. Groot, do you have a girlfriend? But at that moment, their little adventure takes a turn for the worse, because a space pirate-looking individual arrives and scans the two floating out in space. Who the flark are you? Today, I'm a lucky girl because I'm about to pick up the bounty of a lifetime. Well, thanks. It's good to know that my hard work hasn't... Not you, Raccoon. Oh, come on, really? How does Groot have a bigger bounty than me? I am Groot. So the space pirate lady named Eris's army begins attacking them, trying to get Groot. But Groot begins to drop her soldiers with ease. And eventually, a big robot comes out of nowhere and begins to cut up Groot piece by piece. And Eris launches a special net-style gun on him. But Rocket jumps in the way, getting caught in it. Rocket hands his booster to Groot. Take my booster, buddy! Go get help! Tell him exactly what happened! I am Groot! Oh right, this won't flarkin' work! And on that note, Groot blasts off into space, looking for help. How will he do it though? No one can understand him, everyone is afraid of him. The only person who understood him was Rocket. They met in prison one day, where the guards were torturing Groot, because all he could say was I am Groot, and they found it funny. While at first they weren't friends because Rocket wanted nothing to do with Groot, he considered him a houseplant. Eventually, they grew to become the best friends in the galaxy, and they saved each other countless times, because they were each the last of their kinds. And that got Groot thinking. The booster pack that Rocket gave Groot probably has a tracker on it. So he pulls it off, and he looks at it, and it does! He can find Rocket! So Groot rockets off to find Rocket. He's got a big grin on his face because he won't be separated. He'll find his buddy Rocket again. Till he wasn't looking where he was going, and he smashes in to the Silver Surfer and Dawn? Whose booster breaks right away and he begins to rub his head. And Dawn turns to the Surfer. Usually this is where we would exchange insurance information. And she turns to Groot. I am Groot. Hello Groot, I'm Dawn Greenwood. I am Groot. Oh no, she turns back to the Surfer. Is he okay? But the Surfer reassures her. He is Groot. This is what he says. Groot, though, is getting frustrated because he can't put the booster back together, and he screams out, I am Groot! So Dawn asks the Surfer if maybe they can give the big guy a ride. And with a smile, the Surfer says, yes we can. So they follow Groot's tracker throughout space, through the cosmos and into the asteroid fields, past the space whales until the tracker breaks with a pfft. Seeing him sad, Dawn asks if he's okay, and he replies with, I am Groot! Dawn turns back to the Surfer. Talk to him! You guys are both big superhero space guys! And so she takes Toomey, the Surfer's board, and she leaves Groot and Surfer alone, and an awkward Silver Surfer floats over to Groot. I do not know what happened, or what you've lost, but I would guess that it's a friend. The cosmos, they can be an empty place without someone to share it with. I know this. I've made a lot of friends, and I've had to leave a lot of them behind, but now I'm with Dawn. Strange how one person can make you feel new. I tell you this now because I know the grief of losing my friends, and you are here today, and we can either deal with the grief or you can choose to do good. At that moment, Dawn points out a dying world nearby and the surfer turns to Groot. Shall we do good? And Groot smiles. A big Groot smile, and he tells the surfer, I am Groot. I'm gonna call that a yes. And the trio flies to the world with a massive storm that is coming down, destroying it. The surfer tells Groot to get everyone to safety while he handles the storm, and Groot uses everything within his power to save the poor farmers. And then up in the sky, the Silver Surfer is using the power cosmic to push back the storm and bring back the blue skies. When suddenly, a giant slug appears. He was using the whole thing as a trap so that he can devour a powerful hero, and he just got himself the power cosmic. He blasts Groot away, telling him that he drinks suns. And then Groot, standing there confused as to what he should do next, sees a farmer run over to him holding a power cord. Seeing a chance, he throws one end of it to the trapped Silver Surfer, and Silver Surfer reaches out holding it, and then he grabs the storm, and then Groot, being a tree, grounds the storm, sending the lightning through the Silver Surfer, through the cord, and into the slug, trapping the slug in the ground beneath Groot. Everyone wins! The planet is safe and the surfer lives. So Dawn brings the surfer a blanket. I require no blanket. Well, require one anyway. You've had a big day. They then stare deep into each other's eyes. Just as Groot interrupts with some odd fruits and vegetables that he found. Between the food and the fight, the surfer is all tuckered out and he falls asleep in Dawn's arms. But she translated what he was trying to say in his usual, I am mightier power cosmic kind of ways. He says, thank you, Groot. Maybe everything happens for a reason. If we didn't lose the tracker, we wouldn't have saved this planet. And that's when the locals bring a repaired tracker to Groot, and they give him a ship! The journey to save Rocket continues. So he tells his new friend Dawn and his old friend Silver Surfer, I am Groot, and he hits the road again. He makes a stop at a space gas station where he meets a new friend, the Mantron. The Mantron asks nicely if he can pump the fuel for Groot, because he is now a gas pump attendant. Yet he dreams of bigger things. He dreams of soaring the stars. Groot tried to interrupt him, but the Mantron started into a crazy speech of how he was built for only one thing, but he wants to do so much more. That's when the Skrulls from earlier attack the gas station. So Mantron loads up his battle floppy, and he updates. While waiting for the Mantron to update, the Skrulls look around and they realize that there aren't any humans there. And that's when they realize that that's because they're on Earth, not Earth. As the Skrulls begin trying to figure out what went wrong, the Mantron finally updates and announces that it's time for a bloodbath. But Groot stops him just in time. And with that, Groot brings his 4 new friends on the adventure. He gave the Skrulls something to do since they're kind of bad at evading Earth, and the Mantron a chance to leave the gas station. You see, Groot likes friends. He likes people and he always looks out for the best in them. And he always wants to give them a shot. Their next stop in their journey brings Groot to Numinous, a being that is at a crossroads, wondering if the universe is even worth saving or affecting. So many problems have happened in the Marvel Universe, from the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Captain America, Scarlet Witch, and even the Phoenix Force being in Cyclops. Is the universe really worth saving? And Groot replies with, I am Groot! And in that one statement, he tells her about the good that has happened. The old Miss Marvel christening the new Miss Marvel, Falcon becoming the new Captain America, Reed and Sue having kids, Miles Morales and the weddings of the X-Men, the new Thor, and the Thing getting to be happy. So she says, okay. And she joins their journey to save his bestest friend. Eventually, Groot and his team, the Skrulls, Mantron, and Numinous, make their way to Eris's ship, where he can finally save his friend. His team enters the ship, ready to fight, only to trip on Numinous's cloak. Rocket looks at the team and he asks them, who the flark are these losers? This is your team? I am Groot. What do you mean you had the Silver Surfer? Where is he? I am Groot. Why did you ditch the Silver Flarkin' Surfer? So Groot's new team jumps in ready to fight against Eris and her pirates. First, she drops Mantron easy because he was loading the battle floppy. And then Numinous tries to ruin Eris's luck and gives her hiccups instead. Then Groot takes a swipe at Eris's mask, breaking it. So she hits Groot with a series of explosions and blows him to smithereens. She then has her robots burn what's left to prevent him from reforming, while she hauls off her new prisoners. But as the robot is burning up Groot, Numinous uses her powers to shove a single splinter off into the drains. In the sewer of the ship, Groot reforms back as Baby Groot, ready to save the day. As the thugs continue to burn things, Baby Groot leaps back onto the deck, while Eris is escorting everyone to the airlock to throw them out. What about the Flarkin' bounties? Rocket yells at her. I hate to break it to you, but you aren't worth as much as you think. I've got friends. They'll come for me. Oh, the tree worked out really well. Don't count Groot out yet. That's right, because Baby Groot is dodging bullets and jumping on the backs of his enemies so that he can pull the pins on their grenades, blowing them up. He then leaps off ready to run to his friends when a giant bug attacks him and tears his arm off. So he hits the bug with his arm and then throws his broken arm into its mouth to steer it. I am Groot! Meanwhile, back in the airlock, Mantron is trying to tell his new friends how much they mean to him. And Rocket is begging Eris to kill Mantron first. When Groot jumps in, hitting Eris' controls, that'll throw everyone out of the ship and into space. Groot! But as he falls back onto the ground, Eris steps on him, holding him in place. And at that moment, one of the Skrulls named Laz lights on fire and begins stretching, joining the fight. Laz, you're a Super Skrull? The other two ask him. What's a Super Skrull? He asks them back. But it doesn't matter, as Rocket says. Stop complimenting each other and help fight! Rocket takes one of the guns and he gets ready to shoot Eris, but Groot jumps onto his shoulder. I am Groot. Best idea I've heard all day, pal. Rocket gets ready to blast Eris' robot when Mantron begs him to stop. Mantron knows the sadness of loneliness, and he knows what this robot must be feeling. He wants this robot to feel what he has felt, the joy of friends, such dear, rich friends. We met like a minute ago, Rocket tells him. Let him have this. So Mantron walks over and professes his affection to the evil enemy robot. And the evil enemy robot stops to accept his affection. Can we go back to shooting things now? Rocket shouts. So they chase Eris to the back of the ship, where Eris steps on Groot again, but Rocket throws him an explosive and he catches it, blowing up the whole thing in Eris' face. The canister was a solar grenade, feeding Groot all of the energy that he needs to grow 4 stories high. He stomps on her goons and he throws Eris to the ground. He then grabs her whip and he deflects her bullets. I am Groot! He shouts, ready to kill her, but Rocket gets between them. She's down, buddy. You can stop it. But Eris isn't, as she throws a knife into Rocket's back and then opens fire on Groot again. And that's when her own evil robot turns on her, blasting her. Mantron has converted him. So Eris activates all of her grenades, ready to take them all out with her. And the Mantron uses this moment to grab her and rocket into space in one final act of heroism, one final act for his friends. And it all ends there. Mantron died saving everyone, and Groot turned back to normal. Rocket apologizes to everyone for being mean, and he thanks them for saving him. Numinous offers a floppy drive with Mantron's programming to the old evil robot before fading into space, thanking Groot for giving her a purpose again. The Skrulls were all allowed to leave if they promised not to invade anything, and Rocket and Groot, well, they took the car and they went back to their original mission, to get to Earth, because Groot wants to experience it finally. And there's something to do with this girl named Hannah. He gets there with Rocket and they do everything that is on their friend's bucket list. They listen to Star-Lord's musical choices and watch Star Wars for Captain Marvel. And then they get into a villain fight because Gamora and Drax asked them to do it. But Rocket realized that they weren't here for any of that. Groot wanted to find this girl named Hannah. So they went to the only person that Groot could think of that could help him find a single person on Earth. They went to party with the X-Men so that he can talk to Jean Grey. He walks up to her and using her telepathic abilities, he tells her, "Hello, Jean. I need your help. I'm looking for a single person on your planet. A friend I met a long time ago and we share a common memory." Jean tries to explain that she really can't find a single person in the entire world. But Groot continues. "I've heard of your amazing powers, Jean, mostly from Scott Summers over there. But maybe it'll help if I start from the beginning. You see, on my world, there are many like me, but I was not like them. They did horrific things that terrified me, going from world to conquer them in the name of the Empire, or in the name of fear, conquest, or science. They would use any reason that they could think of to justify their actions. The powerful always justify their actions against the weak. I knew it was wrong, and one night, when I was walking home, I met a young girl. The girl was terrified, so Groot made her feel better by growing a flower for her, and she realized that he wasn't like the others, so she introduced herself as Hannah. And Groot told her, I am Groot. He took her from her cell that day, and they ran through the planet with, I am Groot, being chanted all over. And then he put her in an escape pod and sent her on her way. He then stood defiantly against the others. I am Groot! I was punished, Jean, banished, disowned, and I left everything that I knew behind. But you know, if you take that risk and jump into the unknown, what you find will amaze you. There are better places than home. And in time, you will find a new one. Because of her, I learned the greatest truth, one that I now live by every day. And I want to thank her for showing me a kinder universe. That kindness is worth the risk. We don't know how, but Jean did find Hannah. Groot walked up to her and he reintroduced himself as, I am Groot. Hannah welcomed him. Then, under a tree that Groot grew in her garden, they caught up on everything that's happened to them. This is one of the few comic books that I literally waited for every month just to see what would happen next, and I am so happy with the resolution for it. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next for Groot and Rocket Raccoon. So make sure you go check out this book by buying it in trade when it does come out. Go buy the issues right now, and just make sure you check out the new Rocket and Groot issue number 1. I'm Benny the Comicstorian, and I'll see you guys next time right here.